Hello.
Yellow. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us.
How are you?
Good.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Thanks.
That was so slow. That it was so gentle. Today we are talking about how to care.
Yay!
With packages.
Yes. So we're in a time when a lot of people potentially have been sick or unable to leave their house at different times.
Oh yeah.
And we just got us thinking about what do you like best? What do people like to actually receive in those scenarios?
Yeah, like what is right now, for our future audiences 1,000 years from now when
That's
we're
right.
living off in the cloud. By that, I mean in the artificial intelligence bubble where we've uploaded our consciousness.
Sounds good.
Yeah, thank you, darling.
That makes sense.
We're in COVID, so it's like people are stranded, like, you
Yes.
get locked away, you're
Yes.
exiled like a leper. So what do you like getting in those moments? Although not necessarily just for COVID.
Right, like if you've ever been a part of like a meal train for somebody, people do this for all different types of reasons. They might do it if someone was ill. They might
surgery.
They might do it for surgery. They might do it even like if someone recently had a baby. All
Yep.
different types of reasons that someone might think they need a little extra care and help right now.
Which, I've been on it for a couple friends that have gone through surgery. Yeah, so what would you want to receive? Although I guess meal train is very specific within the care package world too.
It is.
Like
I
it's a very
guess.
specific form of it.
You're right.
Is like a care package could also be some other way.
You're
Like,
right.
I've sent them to a few students who were like away for a semester.
Exactly.
But
That's a
it
good
wasn't
point.
like, this was emotional care.
Yeah.
Not so much like when we got some recently where it was like, we need help.
That's true. So, okay, an example of that's a good point, the college care packages.
Oh, yeah.
I remember in college there was one of our friends, and this was so hilarious. So we all happened to go to the mailroom together.
Oh, yeah.
And he got mail, which of course when anyone gets mail, you're so excited.
Oh, absolutely.
So everyone, of course, like he doesn't get to open it in peace. Like everyone's like, what'd you get?
Oh, yeah, you
and
gotta
he
know.
opens it because it's like a legit package. And he opens it, and it's brownies from his mom.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, so all of us are like, awesome. Like,
Yeah.
hand out immediately for him to share these brownies with us. And it was so interesting because this guy was always like a very generous guy, everybody, like the sweetest guy.
Uh-huh.
And it was so funny because he was really hesitant to give anyone brownies. And we all just, of course, thought, well, of course, if my mom sent me brownies, like, I would be so mad that these people saw me open them because
How many people were there with him?
it was like our whole group of friends.
Oh,
So
this
it
is
could've
terrible.
been-
My brownies are gone.
Oh, they're gone.
Yeah.
They're gone. So, so we're like, you could feel bad for him, but it didn't make you put your hand back because you're thinking, homemade brownies, thank you very much. I want them. And I don't think any of us had kitchens, too. It was one of the college years that, like, we were still in, like, really
early
the housing. So, anyway, he was really hesitant and kind of, like, was like, oh, yeah, like, well, maybe later, let's, like, get back to the dorm and all this. And everyone's like, no, I want them now. Like, when you get back to the dorm, you're going to hide them, like, everything, right? So
That
finally,
poor guy.
I know. So finally, like, defeated, he's like, all right, yeah, sure, here you go. And everyone takes one. No one holds back. We bite into them. They are not good.
Oh!
So we all bite into them. They're like, I don't even know if I can describe it, but kind of like papery.
Yeah.
And it was just hysterical. Like they just weren't good, like chalky maybe. And you could see everyone like, thank you so much for sharing, and stuff. And he waited like a beat, like for everyone to have like a bite or two, and then he's like, I was trying to tell you, my mom's not a good cook.
Oh! That's funny.
It was awesome. It was so just like, I was trying to tell you.
That's hilarious.
It was so funny. It was great. They looked great, but yeah.
I got that very similar, but with different. My dad is a good cook.
Yeah,
but when
he is.
I was doing an internship for about 2.5 months in South Africa. And my dad sent me cookies, and they came delivered to the office.
Oh my gosh.
And I didn't know what to do because I was in a larger church that had like maybe 6 or 7 staff members running around. I'm like, oh crap.
No.
Like, and it's very like there's a giant box on my desk in like this open office plan. I'm like, okay, I had to share some of these, and then it's also like I'm going home to a family I'm staying with.
No.
So like I have to I'm like my dad shipped these all like halfway around the world, and I'm losing. My cookies are being kited from me.
That is so sad because you were like by yourself, and that was your only chance at your dad's cookies.
Oh yeah, and I really, honestly, I needed a little emotional support there. I was burnt.
Absolutely.
Although I loved it, it was just like it's a tough experience. You're moving.
We're behind a crazy driver right now, so we're just gonna keep a lot of distance.
I gotta tell you.
Foolish person.
We're talking about a BMW.
They're in between lanes.
This guy, he's halfway between here and there. It's BMW drivers, though. You know what I mean? It's not a Tesla.
Choose the lane, bro. What? Okay,
yeah, look at me skirting again.
Was that the best care package you've ever received?
I've only received a handful, so I'll go with yes.
Okay, that one's really good. I would say that's really good. I do remember when I was studying abroad that my family, they were always sending me things. But one of the things that I remember the most was when they sent me a jar of peanut butter and pretzels.
Interesting.
Yes, it was one of those things that you couldn't get peanut butter over there, really. Everybody craved peanut butter, at least girls. Like, they were always, like, when girls packed for our study abroad, some of the girls packed in their suitcases, like, jars of peanut butter, which is intense because think of the weight. And your suitcase gets weighed, and you're going for like 5 months. You're gonna waste your weight on that. But girls did that.
That's crazy.
So because I don't really remember why. I don't know if you could buy it and it was so expensive. Whatever it was, it wasn't like home.
Who likes peanut butter that much?
Girls typically really like peanut butter. Yes. I can tell you some stories of girls liking some peanut butter.
Okay, yeah, I'll take it. I'm okay with peanut butter. I can never imagine that being the thing I would pack away for like the end of the world experience.
Yes, I know, but it's a thing. I think so. One of our really good friends, Amanda Goodman, she was one of my sister's college roommates, and we love her. She actually, if I remember correctly, she would in college always have a jar of peanut butter in her car.
Oh wow.
Yep, always at all times, so that like when she was hungry, she could just take a scoop of it and eat it straight. She didn't even need anything with it. Yeah.
Shivered.
And she's not, like, that's a little unique, but really there's a lot of girls like that. So anyway,
it's crazy.
My family sent me, one of the things was peanut butter and pretzels. Pretzels was another thing I really couldn't get there, and I love pretzels. And you know how quickly I eat that peanut butter and pretzels?
Day one?
I think it was 2 days.
Okay, I could see that.
A jar, Adam. A jar
I'm not
of
judging
pretzels,
you.
And I would just scoop them. And yeah, so that was a good one because that really felt like home. And I think that's the point. You want comfort from it. And sometimes you're right. You want something you need.
Yeah. I'll throw out one of my recent favorite things we've given. A pastor and I work with teenagers. Over the summer, we did care packages for all of our students because, with quarantine, a lot of things have been canceled.
Oh, yes.
And, we did all these fun snacks. But my favorite new inclusion, and I've started including this basically anytime I've done care packages or a gift, is toilet paper. Yeah. Kind of a joke off of COVID, but also, like, I don't know what people need here to the left or to the right at times, but, like, everybody's going to use toilet paper. So I find it like this is actually a very thoughtful gift.
It is. It really is a thoughtful gift. I think I really laughed at it in the beginning, but I've been with you, and when people receive it, they really like it.
Yeah. I mean, it's
hard to go wrong. At some point, you're gonna need it. Is what the thought is, right?
Yeah, and also a good like double ply toilet paper, like
very luxurious.
We're not going cheap on your toilet paper gift here.
Yeah, I don't think people would like a cheap toilet paper.
No, they know that. Unless it was like one of those industrial bathroom rolls that are like you could like clean a person for a year on one of them. But yeah, so that's been one of my favorite things to include.
Yeah.
In
So that's the kind of care package. Now the more specific version of like the meal train. What do you think needs to be included in a meal train? Like, is there a formula that needs to be in it? What let's say because usually you don't know the person's preferences. I mean, allergies usually, you can figure that out. But, you don't know, like, what their deal is, what they like. So do you have a go-to that you feel like people will always like, that's a good thing to receive?
No. I've only done the meal train a few times in life. One time I literally bought rotisserie chickens from Costco and brought them to a person. I've baked bread for them before. I've included, snacks, depending upon the one. I think the key thing would be a good amount of food, but not too much where it's overwhelming as well.
Nice.
Because, like, you know, I think there could be, like, you know, one of my friends who had surgery, we were on a meal train for her, and, you know, I think I saw, like, it was, like, a really organized website one with many people, and it was like, man, they're getting something all these times. Like, I'm thinking refrigerator space, so it's like, okay, she probably, like, this is good for the meal, but, like, don't make, like, for 5 meals, because there's, like, you know, they're literally blocked out on this, like, website, mealtrain.com calendar. So it's like, okay, I think appropriate spacing.
Yeah, I like that. I think I don't have a specific thing either, but I would say, like, if you can include, like, something that might get hot, like whether maybe it's not hot then, but they can heat it up, like that can be really comforting. But also not always, because I've had other ones that it was like a kind of a colder, like antipasto kind of like situation, and that's amazing too. So I think maybe like a little variety, like if there's maybe 2 options, that way you can mix and match, or if there's other people there and they have preferences, that's always nice.
I like that.
So my biggest thing with this, I think, you know, when people are struggling for whatever the reason, we said there's a lot of different reasons. Some of this was just people living far away, and being away from loved ones. So when you're thinking of doing these, and this is something I always have to push myself in, I feel like just do it.
Oh yeah.
So when, you know how people, like, let's say you're in the situation where one of your, you know, you're in a situation where you might benefit from something like this, and you know how people like reach out and they're like, let me know if there's anything I can do.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
That is rough. That is one of mine, like, that kills me sometimes. Because if you're someone who's actually in crisis, you don't have, like, the faculties to tell them what you need in that moment, right? Like, in my experience, like, if you're really in, like, a crisis and things are really kind of chaotic around you, or whatever it is, or you're just really struggling, like, you're not going to be able to say to someone, like, in a text, like, oh, thank you for asking. I need this.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like, you can't, like, you're not
Yeah, just go help.
Right, just do one of the little things that popped into your head. Whatever it is, like, bringing groceries or doing a fun thing, like, that will mean so much. And it's something that I definitely struggle with, because I overthink it, and then that slows me down to do it. But I've known other people that are so good at that, and it's so amazing.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, I'm not one of those people. I want to get better and better about that, but I speak from experience of watching those people, and man, they're such a blessing to other people.
Yeah, that's real. Yeah, just go get on it. Don't worry about, like, just
Yeah. Have you ever had one of those scenarios where, of course, because we've all had the scenario where, you know, people like are like, oh, let me know if I can do anything, and then of course you just say, oh yeah, thank you, I will. You won't. Like, you won't unless they're your mom. And then you will. Then you'll be like, Mom, I need someone to wash my clothes. I'm dying.
Yeah, of course.
But anyone else you won't. So have you had one of those, can you think of one of those scenarios where someone, like, instead of asking, like, what kind of, they just went and did it? Can you think of anything like that?
Gosh. Not right off the top of my head, can you?
I have a ton, because, well, just because when my dad had a massive heart attack, and also when we found out about Caitlin's diagnosis for ALS, like, so many people just didn't even deal with, like, finding out when we would be home, or, like, asking what we need. They just dropped off, like, meals. Yeah. And that was when I realized, like, the use of this, because we were in such a time of terror and, like, constant shock, that no one was cooking in my house. Like, we couldn't. Yeah. You couldn't function. Like, we really couldn't function at all, even though we were a bunch of adults, and it was just so horrifying for a prolonged period of time. And, like, I think my mom didn't eat for, I don't even know how many days. Like, so then, you know, you don't even really think of it. Like, I think, you know, and then someone just drops off, like, this whole thing, and you're like, oh, and then she ate. You know what I mean? Yeah. It just you weren't taking care of your basic needs. And that's where it was just amazing. And it was a million families.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So it's wonderful.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us.
Love your friends and family.
Bye.